Step closer, seeker of hidden paths. Within these pages lies the forgotten art of seeing the unseen forces that shape your world. Learn to read the silent language of cause and effect, the ancient wisdom etched not in stone, but in the very fabric of reality. Unravel the secret of the invisible threads and seize the power to weave your own destiny. Chapter 1. What are the threads? Imagine a time you dropped something small, maybe a toy block or a shiny coin. It clattered to the floor, making a noise. That falling block wasn't just a single thing happening, it started other things. The noise might have made a pet jump or someone look over. The block on the floor meant you couldn't build your tower quite as planned. One little action, dropping the block, led to a string of other happenings. These connections, how one thing leads to another, are like secret, invisible threads. The ancient keepers of hidden knowledge knew these threads exist everywhere, linking every action to a reaction, every beginning to an end. They understood that to truly master yourself and your world, you must first learn to see the hidden pull. This wisdom is not about magic, but about looking deeper than most people do at how the world really works. It is about understanding that nothing truly happens alone, everything is connected by these unseen lines of influence. Think about a time when you were kind to someone. Maybe you shared a snack or helped them with a difficult task. Your action, the kindness, sent out a thread. What happened next? Maybe the person smiled, felt happier, or later helped someone else because they felt good. That thread of kindness stretched out and touched other things, creating ripples. The ancient texts, whispered in hidden places, describe this as the principle of action and echo. Every action you take, like throwing a stone into a quiet pond, makes ripples. These ripples are the threads spreading out. Sometimes the threads are short and the echo comes back fast, like when you push something and it falls over right away. Other times, the threads are long and twisty, and the echo might not reach you for a long time, like how studying hard in school might lead to a good job many years later. Think of a time something unexpected happened and trace it back one step. The wise ones of old spent their lives observing these threads. They saw them in the rise and fall of kingdoms, in the growth of plants, and in the hearts of people. They learned that understanding where threads start and where they lead is the key to influencing outcomes, not by force, but by guiding the flow. Modern seekers, using new tools, have also begun to map these connections. They study how a tiny change in one place can have huge effects far away, a concept sometimes called the butterfly effect in recent times, but known for ages in the hidden schools. They watch how small behaviors become habits that shape a person's whole life. They see how one discovery in science leads to hundreds of new ideas and inventions. All these are just ways of describing the invisible threads doing their work. The truth is, every action you take creates a thread that connects to a future outcome. To master the self is to become aware of these threads that you constantly create and interact with. It means understanding that even doing nothing is an action that sends out a thread of its own. The air you breathe, the ground you walk on, the people you meet, all are connected by this vast, complex network of threads. Once you begin to see the hidden pull of these connections, the world starts to look different. You see opportunities and challenges not as random events, but as points on these threads, outcomes that were set in motion earlier. This is the first step in claiming mastery, to understand the fundamental force that governs everything. It is the oldest knowledge, the foundation upon which all true power is built. Invisible threads connect actions to what happens later. Next, we will uncover the secret places where these threads begin their journey. Chapter 2, Where Threads Come From. Think about a time you planted a tiny seed in the ground. It didn't look like much, just a small, hard speck. But that seed held the start. With sun, water, and time, that tiny seed could become a big plant, maybe even a tree. The tree might grow fruit, give shade, or become a home for birds. All of that, the fruit, the shade, the bird's home, started with the seed. It was the first step in a long chain of events. Just like the seed is the beginning for the plant, everything that happens in your life, and in the world around you, also has a beginning. The ancient wisdom teaches that these beginnings are always actions start the chain. These actions are like the seeds that sprout the invisible threads we talked about. They are the source points, the places where cause is created before the effect can appear. Understanding where these threads start is crucial, for it is at the beginning that you have the most power to choose the path the thread will take. It's like choosing which seed to plant. Some seeds grow sweet fruit, while others grow thorny weeds. These actions aren't just big, obvious things like building a house or taking a long journey. The hidden knowledge reveals that actions can be very small, almost invisible themselves, yet they still start threads. A thought in your mind is an action. A word you speak is an action. A feeling you hold on to is an action. Even choosing not to do something is an action, a choice that sends its own thread into the world. The ancient ones observed this carefully. They saw how a single unkind word, a tiny action of speaking, could start a thread of hurt that grew into a big fight between friends, or even between villages. They also saw how a small act of kindness, a little seed of generosity, could blossom into a strong friendship that lasted many years and helped many people. These observations, passed down through whispers and hidden texts, match what modern thinkers have also found when they study how people learn and react to the world. They see that when you do something, and something good or bad happens right after, it teaches your mind to want to do that thing more or less in the future. This simple rule is a root of how threads are started and guided. Notice one small action you take today and guess its closest effect. The old stories are full of examples of how tiny actions started massive chains of events. Think of the tale of the messenger who was delayed, causing a crucial message not to arrive in time, which changed the fate of a whole army. That single delay, a small action or inaction, pulled on threads that reshaped history. Or consider the simple act of one person sharing an idea, a mere whisper of thought given form. That idea could spark curiosity in another, who tells a third, and soon that idea becomes a powerful force that changes how everyone lives. These are not just fables, they are reflections of the deep, hidden principle. Every starting point of the threads is an action, no matter how small or hidden it seems. The masters of ancient dark arts understood this profoundly. They knew that controlling the start of the chain was far more powerful than trying to fight the end result. They focused on the seed, the initial action, the subtle push or pull that would inevitably lead to the desired outcome, sometimes using hidden knowledge of fears and desires to plant specific seeds in others' minds. So, when you feel the pull of a thread in your life, the outcome of something that happened earlier, look back to find its start. Where did that thread begin? What action, what seed, was planted that led to this result? Was it something you did, something someone else did, or perhaps a combination? By tracing the threads back to their origins, you begin to understand the power of the beginning. You see that your own thoughts, your words, your choices, your feelings, and what you do are the constant sources, the busy hands planting seeds every moment. The conscious choice to plant a seed of effort, like practicing a skill, or a seed of neglect, like ignoring a problem, will inevitably lead to different gardens blooming in your future. Actions start the chain, laying down the first invisible fiber of causality. Every action, big or small, begins a thread of consequences. Next, we will learn how to feel and recognize the hidden pulls these threads create in your own life. Chapter 3, Feeling Thread Pulls. Imagine you decided not to clean your room last week, even though you knew you should. It was easier just to play. Now, days later, you want to find your favorite toy, but the room is a mess. You have to spend a long time looking, and maybe you can't find it at all. That frustrated feeling, the lost toy, the wasted time searching, these are all effects. They are the echo of your action, or inaction, from the past. The ancient keepers understood that these echoes are how the invisible threads show themselves to you right now. They aren't always big events, sometimes, the threads pull on your feelings, your mood, or the small problems you face every day. Learning to feel the echo now is like learning to read the signals the threads are sending you. It helps you see the connection between what you did, or didn't do, earlier and what you are experiencing in this very moment. This awareness is a powerful tool, a hidden sense that lets you map the threads in reverse. The wise ones observed that people often live surrounded by the echoes of their past actions without even realizing it. If someone often spoke unkindly, the echo might be that others now avoid them, creating a feeling of loneliness. If someone was lazy and didn't learn important skills, the echo might be finding simple tasks difficult or missing out on opportunities. These echoes are the results that travel along the threads from the initial actions. They are felt in the state of your surroundings, the quality of your relationships, the opportunities that appear or disappear, and most importantly, how you feel inside. Ancient teachings told stories, like the boy who cried wolf. His action, lying, sent out a thread. The echo was that later, when he told the truth, a different action, people didn't believe him. He felt the bad echo of his earlier lies. This isn't just a story. It reflects a deep truth about how repeated actions create strong echoes that shape reality. Pay attention to how past choices make you feel right now. The hidden arts teach that your own mind can sometimes make these echoes seem stronger or weaker based on what you already believe. If you expect bad things to happen because of a past mistake, you might notice every little problem as proof that the bad echo is here, even if other good things are happening too. This is a form of subtle self-deception, known to the ancient manipulators, where your own expectations, born from past actions or beliefs, color how you feel the echo now. But by learning to calmly observe your feelings and circumstances without immediate judgment, you can begin to separate the true echo from the noise your mind might add. It requires a quiet inner focus, a willingness to see things as they are and trace them back. The echoes of past actions resonate in your present feelings and circumstances. Becoming skilled at feeling the thread pulls allows you to understand the consequences of your actions more immediately. You don't have to wait for a giant problem to see that a small, negative habit is sending out bad threads. You can feel the echo now in the subtle tension in your body, the little worries in your mind, or the minor inconveniences that keep popping up. Likewise, you can feel the positive echoes of good actions, the warmth of a strong friendship built on past kindness, the ease of a task you prepared for earlier, the quiet confidence that comes from past effort. These feelings are like compasses, pointing back along the threads to the actions that started them. They are the constant feedback loop of the causality principle, showing you the garden that has grown from the seeds you planted. Past choices create feelings and situations you experience today. Next, we will look at the specific threads that begin deep inside your own mind. Chapter 4, Threads from Your Mind. Imagine you wake up one morning and the first thought in your head is, "This is going to be a terrible day." You haven't even gotten out of bed yet, but that single thought, like a tiny whisper, has already started to work. Because you think it will be terrible, you might not even try to have a good day. You might look for reasons why it's bad. If something small goes wrong, you think, "See? I knew it." That one thought didn't just sit there, it started a thread that pulled your mood down, made you look for negative things, and maybe even changed how you acted towards others. The ancient masters knew this secret: your thoughts are not just happening in you, they are actions that happen from you, and they have power. They understood that thoughts weave threads, shaping not only how you feel but also influencing the world you experience. This inner weaving is a powerful, often unseen, part of the causality loop. It's where many threads secretly begin, deep within your own hidden landscape. For centuries, those who studied the inner workings of people saw that what someone believed or constantly thought about tended to show up in their life. If someone always thought they weren't good enough, they often acted in ways that stopped them from succeeding, proving their first thought right. This pattern, known in recent times as a self-fulfilling prophecy, was understood by the ancient wise as a clear example of how thoughts act as powerful seeds for threads. Your mind, they taught, is like a garden where thoughts are constantly being planted. Some thoughts are seeds of beautiful flowers, while others are seeds of thorny weeds. What grows in your life, the echoes you experience, often depends on the thoughts you water and give sunlight to. The hidden teachings emphasize that while you may not always control the first thought that pops into your head, you can control which thoughts you keep thinking, which ones you feed. For 1 minute, notice what you think about and imagine it as a thread. The old philosophies, like those of the quiet thinkers in ancient Greece, also spoke of the power of the inner world. They said that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can control how you think about what happens. This control over your inner thoughts was seen as a way to guide the threads that start within you, no matter the outer circumstances. A thought of fear can start a thread that leads to avoiding challenges, which might result in regret later. A thought of courage, though, can start a thread that leads to facing a challenge, which might result in growth or success. These examples, simple as they seem, show the fundamental truth: the mind is not a passive place, it is an active source of causal threads. Even a secret thought, one you never speak aloud, sends out its own subtle thread, influencing your mood, your energy, and your readiness for action. The practitioners of subtle influence knew this well. They sought to plant specific thoughts in the minds of others, knowing that once the thought took root, it would begin to weave its own threads of behavior and belief. Your thoughts are the silent architects of your inner and outer reality. Recognizing that thoughts weave threads gives you immense power. It means that changing your thoughts is a direct way to start weaving different threads, leading to different outcomes. It's not about pretending things are okay when they are not, but about consciously choosing which thoughts to focus on, which mental seeds to plant. By paying attention to the thoughts that occupy your mind most often, you can begin to see the origins of many threads currently shaping your life. Are your dominant thoughts ones of worry and lack? Then the threads they weave will likely lead to feelings of anxiety and missed opportunities. Are your dominant thoughts ones of possibility and gratitude? Then the threads will likely lead to feelings of hope and openness to good experiences. This inner work is the foundation of self-mastery, for the threads of your life are largely determined by the unseen activity within your own mind. Your thoughts are powerful threads shaping your world and feelings. Next, we will explore how your feelings, strong and often turbulent, also pull and direct the invisible threads. Chapter 5: Threads from Your Feelings. Imagine you are playing happily, completely enjoying yourself. Suddenly, someone takes your toy without asking. A strong feeling rushes through you, maybe anger or frustration. That feeling doesn't just stay inside, it makes you want to do something. Maybe you yell, grab the toy back, or even feel like crying. The feeling became a push, a hidden force making you act. The ancient seekers knew this power of feelings. They understood that while thoughts start threads, strong feelings pull the threads, often very hard and fast. Feelings are like strong currents in a river, they can sweep you along and cause you to act in ways you might not have chosen if you were thinking calmly. These emotional pulls are powerful initiators of action, creating new threads in the network of cause and effect. They are a vital, often unpredictable, source of movement in the hidden tapestry of your life. The hidden knowledge teaches that feelings are ancient responses built into every person. They are signals from the deepest parts of you, reacting to the world. When you feel fear, your body gets ready to run or fight. When you feel joy, you want to connect with others and celebrate. These natural responses, studied in modern times as the work of the brain's old parts that react instantly, were seen by the wise ones as raw energy. This energy doesn't just sit still, it demands action, and that action starts threads. If anger makes you say something mean, that mean word starts a thread of hurt. If fear makes you run away from a new challenge, that action of running starts a thread of missed opportunity. The old stories are full of examples where strong feelings led people to make choices that had big consequences, both good and bad. Think of tales where love led to great sacrifices or where envy led to terrible deeds. These stories are echoes of the truth that feelings are powerful forces that pull on the threads of destiny. Notice one strong feeling and see what it makes you want to do. The dark arts practitioners knew how powerful feelings are in controlling others. They didn't need physical chains, they used fear, desire, and anger to make people act against their own best interests. They understood that if they could make someone feel strongly enough about something, that feeling would pull them to act, starting threads that served the manipulator's purpose. This is a grim reflection of a natural truth: feelings are powerful motivators. They are the fuel that drives many actions. While you may not always choose the initial feeling that arises within you, like surprise or sudden fear, you can learn to recognize the feeling and choose how you will respond to its pull. Will you let anger pull you into a shouting match, or will you use that energy to calmly state your boundary? The feeling is the pull, but your conscious mind can learn to guide the direction of the thread that follows. Strong feelings are powerful forces that initiate actions and start new threads of causality. Becoming aware of how feelings pull the threads is key to gaining mastery over yourself. It means noticing your feelings without immediately acting on them. It's like feeling a strong wind but deciding whether to set sail or drop anchor. By pausing between the feeling and the action it wants to pull you into, you create a space. In that space lies your power to choose a different response, to start a different thread. Ignoring or suppressing feelings doesn't stop them from pulling, it just makes their pull harder to see. The ancient wisdom advises acknowledging the feeling, understanding its energy, and then consciously deciding what action, if any, you will take. This skill, like all mastery, takes practice. But as you get better at feeling the pull and choosing your response, you gain more control over the threads that shape your life and your interactions with others. Strong feelings push you to act, creating new threads of effect. Next, we will see how your deliberate choices are the steering wheel, guiding the threads set in motion by thoughts and feelings. Chapter 6: Threads from your choices. Imagine you stand at a spot where two paths split in a forest. One path looks easy and flat, the other looks steep and rocky. You have to make a choice: which path will you take? Whichever path you choose, your journey from that point forward will be different. The things you see, the challenges you face, where you end up, all are determined by that one decision. Your choices are like these path splits in the network of invisible threads. They are moments where you actively decide which thread to pull, which direction the energy of your thoughts and feelings will flow. The ancient knowledge teaches that while thoughts and feelings start threads and pull on them, your choices set the path. They are the rudder on the ship, the hand guiding the shuttle in the loom. Making conscious choices is where your power to steer the threads becomes most clear. Every decision, big or small, is a pivot point for causality. The wise ones carefully studied the outcomes of choices. They saw how a single decision by a leader could lead to war or peace for thousands of people. Think of the old tale of a general who had to decide whether to cross a certain river. His choice to cross it changed the future of a vast land forever. This historical example, known in some accounts, shows the weight of choice. Even in simpler stories, like the fable of the ant and the grasshopper, the consequences of choices are clear. The ant chose to work and prepare, the grasshopper chose to play. Their different choices led to very different outcomes when winter arrived. These stories, shared for generations, are not just simple lessons, they are ancient observations about how the act of choosing shapes the threads of reality. They show that the life you are living today is, in large part, the result of the thousands of choices you have made up to this point. Before deciding something small, pause and think about where it might lead. The hidden arts also focused on influencing the choices of others. They knew that if they could subtly guide someone to choose a certain path, that person would then weave their own threads leading to a desired outcome, believing it was their own free will at work. This dark understanding highlights the power inherent in the act of choosing. Even when you feel pushed by strong feelings or persistent thoughts, the final action you take is often the result of a choice, even if it's a choice made quickly or without much thought. The ancient masters aimed to make their choices deliberately, understanding that each decision was an act of weaving their destiny. They didn't just react to the pulls of feelings, they used their conscious will to choose actions that aligned with their deeper goals, thereby directing the threads more effectively. Your conscious choices are the primary steering mechanism for the invisible threads of your life. Understanding that choices set the path empowers you to be a more active participant in shaping your future. It moves you from feeling like you are simply reacting to the echoes of the past to realizing you are constantly initiating new chains of cause and effect. Even a small choice, like choosing to speak kindly instead of angrily, chooses a thread of connection instead of a thread of conflict. Choosing to practice a skill for a few minutes each day weaves a thread of improvement that, over time, can lead to mastery. The hidden power lies not just in making choices, but in making them with awareness, considering the potential paths the threads might take. This doesn't mean you will always know exactly what will happen. The network of threads is vast and complex, but it means you are actively guiding the direction, rather than being passively pulled along. Each choice you make steers the invisible threads of your life. Next, we will look beyond yourself and see how your threads connect and interact with the threads of other people. Chapter 7: How Threads Connect Us. Imagine you see a friend who looks sad. You smile at them and say something kind. What happens? Maybe their face brightens a little, and they smile back. Your action, the smile and kind words, didn't just create a feeling in you, it reached out and touched another person. You sent out a thread, and it connected to their own inner world, creating a reaction. The hidden knowledge reveals that the invisible threads don't just run through a single person, they stretch out and link us all together. Every interaction you have, every word you speak, every look you give, sends out threads that connect you to the people around you. These are the threads between hearts, minds, and lives, constantly weaving a shared tapestry of existence. Understanding these connections is key to navigating the social world and recognizing how your actions ripple outwards to touch others. The ancient observers of human nature understood that feelings and behaviors can spread from person to person, like ripples in a pond. If one person is angry, that anger can quickly spread through a group. If one person is happy, their joy can lift the spirits of others. This spreading, sometimes called emotional contagion in modern studies, was seen by the wise ones as the threads of feeling and energy passing between people. They also noticed the rule of giving and receiving. When you give kindness, you often receive kindness back. This principle of reciprocity is another way the threads connect us, creating loops of interaction. Even without words, people's actions influence each other. It's like when you see someone yawn, you might feel like yawning too. This mirroring, studied by some as the work of mirror neurons in the brain, was known anciently as the unseen resonance that links one person's inner state to another's, showing how deeply we are woven together by these threads. Think about how your mood affects someone near you. The dark arts masters exploited these connections. They knew that by manipulating the feelings or actions of one person, they could send out threads that would influence a whole family, a village, or even a kingdom. They understood how gossip, fear, or false promises could travel along these threads, creating division or loyalty where none existed before. This dark reflection highlights the reality that the threads connecting us can carry both light and shadow. Your threads of kindness can inspire others, creating positive ripples. Your threads of impatience or negativity can weigh others down, creating difficult echoes in the shared space. The ancient responsibility that comes with this knowledge is the understanding that you are constantly contributing to the shared network of threads, for better or for worse. Every relationship, every encounter, is an opportunity to weave certain kinds of threads. Your actions and words are constantly weaving threads that connect you to other people. Learning to see and feel the threads between hearts allows you to understand the power of your interactions. It makes you more mindful of the ripples you create with every look, every touch, every sound you make. It helps you see why one person's bad mood can seem to infect a room, or why an act of courage can inspire others to be brave. This interconnectedness means that self-mastery is not just about controlling your own threads, it's also about understanding how they intertwine with the threads of others. By consciously choosing kindness, respect, and honesty, you send out strong, positive threads that strengthen the connections between you and those around you. These threads, built deliberately, create a more supportive and harmonious environment, showing that the unseen network is not just a source of unpredictable outcomes, but a space where conscious intention can weave powerful bonds. Your actions and words create threads connecting you to others. Next, we will look closely at how some threads of connection are used subtly, even secretly, to influence what others think and do. Chapter 8: Threads of Hidden Influence. Imagine you really want a new toy, and you tell your parent all the good reasons why you should have it. You might talk about how it's educational, how your friends have it, or how you promise to do extra chores. You are trying to weave threads to influence their decision, to make them choose to get you the toy. Sometimes, this kind of influencing is clear. But often, influence works through subtler, hidden threads that you might not even notice pulling on you. The ancient practitioners of what some call dark psychology understood these hidden threads deeply. They knew how to create situations or use words that would make people more likely to act in a certain way, without those people even realizing why. These are the threads where hidden hands pull, guiding your choices or beliefs without you seeing the hand itself. Learning to spot these threads is a powerful form of defense and understanding. The hidden knowledge includes lessons on how people are moved not just by logic, but by unseen forces. One such force is the desire to be like others. If you see everyone around you doing something, a hidden thread pulls you to do it too, even if it doesn't make complete sense. This is like the old wisdom that a crowd can be easily swayed, or what modern thinkers call social proof. People look to others to figure out how to act, and this collective behavior sends out powerful threads of influence. Another thread is pulled by respect for someone seen as important or an expert. If someone you look up to says something is true, a hidden thread pulls you to believe it, sometimes without questioning. This respect for authority was used by rulers and priests throughout history to guide the actions of many. Ancient tales also speak of how repeating a message over and over, like a constant drip of water, can wear down resistance and weave threads of belief in people's minds, a simple form of what is now called propaganda. When someone tries to get you to do something, ask yourself why they want it. These techniques, whether used for good, like convincing a child to eat healthy food by saying everyone else is doing it, or for ill, like tricking people into buying something they don't need, work by understanding the natural ways human minds and feelings respond to certain pulls. The dark arts focused on using this knowledge to gain power or wealth, creating situations that exploited these natural tendencies. They would create a feeling of scarcity to make people buy quickly, or use flattery to make someone more open to a suggestion. These are all examples of weaving threads of hidden influence, making it seem like a person is making their own choice, when in reality, they are responding to a subtle pull. Recognizing that hidden hands pull doesn't mean everyone is trying to trick you, but it does mean that many interactions have layers of influence, some obvious, some unseen. The path to mastery requires you to become sensitive to these subtle threads. When someone is trying to persuade you, whether it's a friend, an advertisement, or someone in power, ask yourself, what methods are they using? Are they relying on you wanting to fit in? Are they using strong feelings? Are they presenting themselves as an unquestionable authority? By seeing these threads for what they are, attempts to create a causal chain leading to you doing something, you can choose your response more deliberately. You can decide whether to follow the pull, resist it, or offer a different action, thus weaving your own counter-thread. This awareness protects you from being unknowingly swept along by the currents of influence and gives you more control over the threads that connect you to others. People use unseen threads to subtly influence what you do. Next, we will confront the difficult truth about how threads between people can break and what causes these painful separations. Chapter 9: Threads of Breaking Bonds. Imagine you and a friend are holding a piece of string tightly between you. You feel connected, you can pull gently and feel their pull back. Now, imagine someone takes scissors and cuts the string right in the middle. Suddenly, the connection is gone. You can't feel their pull anymore. This is what happens to the invisible threads between people when certain actions occur. While kindness, trust, and shared experiences weave threads stronger, there are other actions that are like sharp blades to these connections. The ancient wisdom, especially the parts concerning the darker aspects of human nature, understood this well. They saw that certain actions didn't just stretch or tangle the threads, they severed them completely. They knew that threads can snap, and the sound of that snapping is the pain of a broken bond, a lost connection in the tapestry of relationships. Understanding what breaks these threads is as important as understanding what creates them. The keepers of hidden knowledge observed the actions that consistently broke the threads between people. Lies were like a sudden, sharp cut. Trust is a strong thread woven over time, and a lie is an action that instantly weakens or severs it. Broken promises were similar. Each promise made weaves a small thread of expectation, and breaking it is like letting that thread go limp or cutting it entirely. Actions of deliberate cruelty or unkindness were seen as powerful forces for separation. When someone intentionally harms another, they aren't just performing a single action, they are sending out a devastating wave that rips through the threads of connection. The old stories, like the ancient tale of two brothers whose bond was broken by jealousy and violence, serve as timeless warnings about the destructive power of certain actions on human connection. These historical accounts and fables, passed down through the ages, show that the effects of betrayal and conflict are not just immediate pain, but a lasting severance of the threads that held people together. Remember a time trust was broken and how it changed things. The dark arts practitioners knew that breaking bonds could be a tool. By sowing distrust, spreading lies, or causing conflict, they could isolate individuals or groups, making them easier to control or conquer. They understood that severed threads create weakness, making people vulnerable. This dark knowledge emphasizes how powerful the actions of breaking bonds are. They don't just affect the people directly involved, the snapping of threads can send shivers through the entire network of connections, making others wary and less likely to form strong bonds themselves. The echo of a broken thread is often a lasting one: suspicion, hurt, and distance. Unlike a simple tangle, a snapped thread requires deliberate effort and time to even begin to rejoin, and sometimes, the connection can never be exactly the same. Certain actions like lies, broken promises, and cruelty act like shears, severing the invisible threads between people. Recognizing that threads can snap highlights the fragility of human connection and the importance of mindful action in relationships. It teaches that while building trust and weaving strong threads takes time and consistent effort, they can be undone surprisingly quickly by harmful deeds. This awareness is not meant to create fear, but to instill respect for the delicate nature of the social tapestry. By understanding the actions that break threads, you can choose to avoid them in your own behavior. You can also recognize when threads between you and others have been damaged and understand the depth of the impact. This knowledge is the necessary precursor to learning how, sometimes, these broken threads might be mended, a complex process that requires different skills than weaving them in the first place. Lies, broken promises, and unkindness snap the threads between people. Next, we will learn the difficult but necessary skills needed to mend the threads that have been broken. Chapter 10: Mending Broken Threads. Imagine you have a favorite shirt, but it gets torn. You can't just wish it wasn't torn, wishing won't fix it. You need to carefully sew the edges back together. It takes patience, careful stitches, and you can usually still see where the tear was, even after it's mended. Repairing a torn thread between people is like mending that shirt. It's harder than weaving a new thread, and the place where it was broken might always show a scar. But it is possible, with effort and the right actions. The ancient wisdom teaches that while certain actions can snap threads, other actions are needed to carefully weave threads anew where they were broken. This process of mending is vital because broken threads create emptiness and weakness in the tapestry of human connection. It requires courage and humility, different qualities than the ones used to break the threads. The keepers of hidden knowledge knew that snapping a thread sends out a powerful negative echo, creating pain and distance. To counteract this, they developed practices for repair. The first step was always acknowledging the break. This meant the person who caused the break had to see the damage their action created. Then came expressing sincere regret, not just saying sorry quickly, but truly understanding the hurt caused. These were seen as the first stitches in beginning to weave threads anew. But saying sorry wasn't enough. Mending required actions over time. This could involve making amends for the harm caused, showing through consistent behavior that the hurtful action was an exception, not the rule. Some ancient cultures had formal ways for people to resolve conflicts and repair relationships after harm was done, methods focused on bringing people back together and healing the community, which are similar to modern ideas of restorative practices. These methods understood that rebuilding trust, the strong material of the threads, takes time and repeated positive interactions. Apologize sincerely for a small mistake you made today. The dark arts, while focused on breaking bonds, also held a twisted understanding of mending. Sometimes, a false show of repair could be used to regain trust only to exploit it later. This dark side reminds us that true mending must come from a sincere intention to heal the connection, not just to gain something. It requires patience from both sides. The person whose thread was broken needs time and consistent proof that the connection is safe again. The person doing the mending must be prepared for the process to be slow and sometimes difficult. Not all threads can be fully mended. Some breaks are too deep, or one person is unwilling to participate in the repair. In these cases, accepting that the thread cannot be rejoined is a painful but sometimes necessary part of understanding the permanent echoes of certain actions. However, the effort to mend, even if unsuccessful in full repair, sends out its own threads of humility, responsibility, and the desire for connection, which can strengthen other parts of the tapestry or help weave new connections in the future. Mending broken threads requires acknowledging the harm, expressing sincere regret, and consistent actions to rebuild trust. The mastery of relationships includes the difficult skill of knowing how to weave threads anew. It means understanding that damage has consequences, but also that repair is often possible through conscious effort. By taking responsibility for actions that broke threads, offering sincere apologies, and consistently acting in trustworthy ways, you send out healing threads. By being open, when safe and possible, to receiving the mending efforts of others, you participate in the healing process. This complex weaving is a powerful demonstration of your ability to influence the causal network of relationships, turning away from the echoes of pain and moving towards the possibility of renewed connection. It shows that even after damage, intentional action can create pathways for repair and growth in the intricate web of human threads. Apologies, forgiveness, and kindness can repair snapped threads. Next, we will explore how to purposefully create new and strong threads, weaving desired connections into your life. Chapter 11, Weaving New Threads. Imagine you want to build a bridge across a small stream. You can't just wish for the bridge to appear. You need to find the right materials, strong wood or sturdy stones. Then, you need to carefully place them, connecting them piece by piece until the bridge is complete. Building a new connection with another person is like building that bridge. It requires finding the right materials, shared interests, kindness, respect, and then carefully putting in the effort to link them together. The ancient wisdom teaches that just as you can mend broken threads, you can also consciously weave bonds carefully, creating entirely new connections in the tapestry of your life. This active creation of threads is different from the automatic connections that sometimes happen. It's a deliberate act of shaping your social world. It is about choosing who you connect with and how you build those connections. The keepers of hidden knowledge knew that strong groups, whether families, tribes, or kingdoms, were built on deliberately woven threads. They saw that shared goals, like needing to work together to build a shelter or defend against a threat, naturally wove strong bonds between people. They also understood the power of shared identity. Feeling like you belong to the same group creates instant threads of connection. The simple act of showing kindness was seen as a powerful way to begin weaving. A smile, a helping hand, a listening ear, these were the basic fibers used to start the weaving process. Historical accounts tell of alliances between groups formed not just by promises, but by sharing food, exchanging gifts, and spending time together, actions that wove threads of familiarity and trust. These ancient observations align with what is understood now about how relationships are built step by step through positive interactions and finding common ground. They saw that consistently treating others with respect was like using the strongest material for the threads, creating bonds that could withstand strain. Introduce yourself to someone new today. While the dark arts focused on breaking bonds, a twisted form of their knowledge also involved creating false bonds for manipulation. They might pretend to have shared interests or offer insincere kindness to gain someone's trust before exploiting them. This dark mirror shows the power of the techniques themselves. Kindness and shared goals do weave threads, and that power can be used for good or ill. But true connection, as understood by the masters of self-mastery, comes from sincerity. When you weave bonds carefully with genuine interest and respect, the threads are strong and resilient. They create connections that support and enrich, rather than control and exploit. It's important to remember that weaving new threads takes time and effort. A single kind word might start a thread, but many kind words, shared experiences, and mutual support are needed to weave that thread into a strong rope. Creating new connections requires intentional actions like kindness, seeking shared interests, and showing respect. Learning to weave bonds carefully is a powerful skill for shaping your life. It means being proactive in seeking out connections with people who share your values or interests. It means putting in the effort to communicate, to listen, and to offer support. By consciously planting the seeds of kindness and respect, and nurturing them with consistent positive actions, you actively weave new threads into the tapestry of your relationships. This process isn't just about making friends, it's about building networks of support, finding mentors, creating community, and enriching your life through connection. It is an ongoing practice, understanding that like any woven fabric, the threads need care and attention to remain strong. You have the power to create these valuable links, adding new patterns and strength to the intricate design of your life's connections. Kindness, shared goals, and respect weave strong new threads. Next, we will explore how to make the threads you've woven stronger and more resilient over time. Chapter 12, Controlling Thread Strength. Imagine you have a simple string, but you want to make it strong enough to hold something heavy. You can't just make the string thicker instantly. You need to add more fibers, twisting them together tightly, maybe braiding several strings into a rope. The more care and material you add, the stronger the rope becomes. The invisible threads between people are similar. They don't stay the same strength on their own. They need ongoing care and attention to become resilient and lasting. The ancient wisdom teaches that once threads are woven, whether new or mended, you must actively work to strengthen the weave. This is how connections endure through challenges and time. It's about reinforcing the bonds through consistent, positive actions, making the threads resistant to snapping. The keepers of hidden knowledge observed that relationships that lasted were those where people continuously invested in the connection. It wasn't enough to just weave the initial thread, they needed to keep adding strength. This was done through regular acts of kindness, offering support when needed, showing loyalty, and spending quality time together. They saw that these consistent positive interactions acted like adding more fibers to the threads, making them thicker and less likely to break under strain. This understanding aligns with modern ideas about how relationships thrive when there is consistent positive reinforcement, when people feel valued, safe, and supported. The ancient concept of building a secure base in important relationships, a concept echoed in modern studies of human connection, was about creating threads so strong that a person felt safe to explore the world, knowing they had a reliable connection to return to. Historical accounts and timeless stories celebrate examples of enduring loyalty and friendship, where individuals stood by each other through difficult times, their threads of connection proving unbreakable because of the strength built over many years of shared experience and mutual support. Do something helpful for someone you care about. Even the dark arts practitioners, in their twisted way, understood the power of strengthening bonds, though often to create dependency or unbreakable loyalty for their own gain. They might offer favors, create shared secrets, or provide a sense of belonging to make the threads of connection to themselves incredibly strong, ensuring others would be less likely to break away. This dark mirror highlights the truth: consistent positive input does strengthen threads. The key for the master of self-mastery is to use this knowledge ethically, to build genuinely strong and supportive connections, not manipulative ones. To strengthen the weave requires ongoing effort. It's not a one-time action, but a continuous process of nurturing the connection. This might involve checking in regularly, actively listening, celebrating successes, and offering comfort during failures. Every act of genuine support is like adding another layer to the thread. Consistent positive actions and mutual support are essential for strengthening the threads between people. Learning to strengthen the weave is crucial for building a rich and resilient social tapestry. It means understanding that relationships, like any woven material, need care to maintain their strength. By consciously and consistently showing kindness, offering support, and investing time and energy into your important connections, you actively reinforce the threads that link you to others. This makes the bonds more resistant to the inevitable challenges and misunderstandings that can arise. Strong threads also create powerful positive echoes, a reliable support system, a sense of belonging, shared joy, and resilience in the face of difficulty. This skill is not just about maintaining existing relationships, but about ensuring that the valuable connections you weave become lasting sources of strength and mutual benefit in the intricate network of life's threads. Regular kindness and support make important threads strong. Next, we will step back and learn how to see the vast, interconnected network of threads as a whole tapestry. Chapter 13, Seeing the Whole Tapestry. Imagine standing close to a large, beautiful rug. When you look closely, you just see individual threads, a blue thread here, a red thread there. But if you step back and look at the whole rug, you see a picture, a pattern, a complete design made up of all those tiny threads woven together. The invisible threads of cause and effect are like that. When you focus only on one action and its closest result, you see just a few threads. But life is made of millions and millions of threads, all connecting to each other, crossing over, twisting, and interacting in countless ways. Together, they form a vast, complex picture, the tapestry of reality. Learning to see the big picture means stepping back from the individual threads and trying to understand how everything is connected in this giant weave. This view reveals patterns and understandings hidden from those who only see the individual strands. The ancient masters who studied the hidden workings of the world knew that nothing exists in isolation. They saw that the health of the forest was connected to the health of the river, and the health of the river was connected to the health of the people who lived nearby. This understanding of interconnectedness, now studied as ecology, was seen as part of the great tapestry of life. They also saw how complex events, like building something as massive as the Great Pyramids, were not the result of one person's action, but the outcome of thousands of actions by countless people over many years, all their efforts woven together. These historical feats showed them how individual threads of planning, labor, logistics, and resources combined to create something enormous. The wise ones developed ways of thinking that tried to see the whole system, understanding that changing one part of the tapestry could affect many other parts in unexpected ways. This is a form of systems thinking, realizing that the whole is greater, and often more complex, than the sum of its parts. Pick a situation and draw a simple map of everyone and everything connected. The dark arts also had their version of seeing the tapestry, often focusing on how to manipulate entire systems of people rather than just individuals. They looked for the weak points in the weave, the places where a small pull could unravel a large section or redirect a major flow. They understood how fear in one part of a community could spread through the threads and weaken the whole. This dark knowledge underscores the reality that the tapestry is not just beautiful, it is also vulnerable to disruption. Seeing the whole tapestry helps you understand why sometimes a small action you take has a much larger or different effect than you expected. It's because your thread connected with countless others you didn't even see, creating a complex reaction. It also helps you see recurring patterns, understanding that similar types of actions tend to weave similar patterns in the tapestry over time. The totality of interconnected threads forms the vast and complex tapestry of reality. Learning to see the big picture changes how you understand cause and effect. It moves you beyond simple A causes B thinking to understanding that A contributes to a complex network, which then produces a result. This perspective is crucial for true mastery. It helps you see the potential long-term and indirect consequences of actions, both your own and others. It makes you aware of the intricate dance of influence happening constantly. While you cannot see every single thread in the universe, the ability to step back and perceive the larger patterns, the major flows, and the significant connections within the tapestry allows you to navigate the world with greater wisdom. It reveals that your own threads, while small in comparison to the whole, are still part of this magnificent and complex weave, contributing to the overall design. Many threads connect to make the big picture of life. Finally, we will discover how, armed with this knowledge, you can take your place as a conscious guide within the tapestry, becoming the master weaver of your own destiny. Chapter 14, Becoming the Master Weaver. Imagine you have spent a long time learning to paint. At first, your lines were shaky, and your colors mixed in muddy ways. But you practiced and practiced, learning how the brush moves, how colors blend, and how to see light and shadow. Now, you can pick up a brush and, with intention and skill, create a beautiful picture that was first only in your mind. This is like learning to understand the invisible threads. You started by seeing the simple connection between an action and its echo. You learned where threads begin, thoughts, feelings, choices, and how they connect us. You even learned to see the whole, vast tapestry they form. Now, with this knowledge, you can move from just seeing the weave to actively and skillfully creating within it. This is the path to becoming the master of the weave, the one who consciously guides the threads of their own life and influences the tapestry around them with intention. The hidden knowledge passed down through the ages culminates in this understanding. You are not just a passive observer of the tapestry, you are an active participant, a weaver yourself. The ancient masters knew that while fate or external forces might seem powerful, the ability to choose your actions and understand their effects gives you a profound power to shape your destiny. They understood that effort and practice build skill, whether in fighting, farming, or weaving the threads of life. This belief in the power of personal effort and ability, known in more recent times as agency and self-efficacy, was a cornerstone of their teachings on mastery. They told stories of individuals who faced great challenges but, through persistent effort and wise choices, conscious weaving, overcame obstacles and achieved remarkable things, demonstrating the power of the weaver over difficult circumstances. This wasn't magic, it was the understanding that consistent, directed action sends out powerful threads that can reroute the flows in the tapestry. Plan one positive action today that connects to a bigger goal. Even the dark arts masters, in their pursuit of control, acknowledged this principle. They knew that to control others, they had to either break the person's sense of being a weaver or subtly direct their weaving hand. But the true mastery taught in the hidden schools is about mastering yourself, not controlling others. It's about using your understanding of how thoughts, feelings, and choices weave threads to deliberately create the echoes you desire in your life. It's about seeing the connections in the tapestry to make wise decisions about where to place your effort and how to interact with others. Becoming a master weaver doesn't mean you will never face challenges or that the tapestry will always look exactly as you planned. Unexpected knots and stray threads are part of the nature of reality. But it means you have the knowledge and skill to respond consciously, to mend where needed, to weave new paths, and to strengthen the most important bonds. It means you move from being a thread simply being pulled along to being the hand guiding the shuttle. Becoming the master weaver means using your understanding of causality to consciously and skillfully guide your actions and shape your life. The journey to master the weave is one of continuous learning and practice. Every choice you make is a chance to practice conscious weaving. Every interaction is an opportunity to understand the threads between yourself and others. Every challenge is a lesson in how the tapestry responds to different pulls and tensions. By consistently applying the principles in this book, seeing the threads, understanding their origins, feeling their pulls, choosing wisely, connecting with others deliberately, mending breaks, and strengthening bonds, you become increasingly skilled at navigating the intricate network of causality. You gain the power to influence the patterns in the tapestry of your life, moving from being a thread caught in the currents to becoming the conscious weaver of your own design. The hidden knowledge is now yours to wield. You can learn to guide the threads and shape your life's tapestry. The paths are laid, the threads are revealed. Go forth and weave.